Hi, today we will show how to enroll your student into James Jordan Middle School. You should have received an email with information regarding your student and their enrollment. In this example, we have something called the test student, which here you should have your student's name on it. In this email, we'll go over a few questions. What is a snap code? Should I create an account? Do I have to answer the questions? And we will go over it. Let's jump into what is a snap code. By clicking on this link, it will take you to a new page, which this page portrays only to your student. And you want to create an account using the snap code. You'll click on create account. In this case, I already used this snap code, but in your case, you will have a brand new snap code to your student. You have a few fill in the blanks that you want to answer, like first name, last name, daytime, phone number, email address, and they're very important that these answers are very accurate. Then you have the security questions that you want to create a password, and you have security question 1, security question number 2, and it has a few security questions that you can pick from. And then you want to create an account. Now let's register your student in PowerSchool. What you like to do is read this information about how to select next, the summary page, and the summary records. This is going to help you keep track of your student registration. In the left-hand panel, we see all the things that we have to cover. And the first one is student. Here, you're going to have some pre-filled out boxes. In this case, because it's a preview, I don't have these boxes filled in. You're going to have new student already in. The first name and last name should already be there. As you can tell, some of these boxes are gray and the other ones are white. The gray boxes should already be filled out, but they can be edited if some of the information is wrong. Now here, we bump into a require box. We have to fill up every require box, and that is the first one. We have to fill up the require box, or else it's not going to let us move forward. Then we continue filling up of the general information with all these drop-down menus, the address, apartment number, city, state. And we can also do changes here if you like to modify a current address from a previous student for later on. And you can see that we get some required boxes there too. And throughout this whole menu or filling the boxes, we have a lot of drop downs that also have require. Here we have other required boxes that we have to attend to, like country of birth, city of birth, and they get broken down into other sub parts like part A, part B, and all these parts have their own little questions. Here we have previous school information. You want to answer that, additional information, and all these questions help us find the right accommodation for your students. Now, also, if any of these questions you might find them difficult to answer, you can always contact the school by email, by phone number, and we can help you out to understand the question further. Here, does your child have a Section 504 plan? Has the student been designated as gifted? And all these questions want to be answered, remembering that the required box are very important. You would like to answer these questions as best as possible, so make sure you take your time reading each of the options here, and this goes throughout the whole questionnaire enrolling your student. Now let's jump into contacts here in the left-hand panel. This section we will go over about family information, contact information, and contact list. And all of this drop down fill in the blanks or questions are very straightforward about who is the person that we are able to reach out to. Now this contact should be contacted in case of an emergency, in case the student needs to be picked up or the student needs to leave the school. These are the contacts that we will reach to. Now you want to answer this the required boxes as carefully as possible and fill in all these blanks. Here we will go over about maybe if it's a sister, a cousin, a neighbor, what kind of relationship do they have, Are they the emergency contact? Do they have custody? Can they pick up the student? Do they live with the student, right? If no, then you have another part to fill up. If yes, you don't have to worry about that. Here you see what happens when you put no. We have another sections to be filled up as physical address. Now you might find a few sections that don't have a require box, but if you can fill them out as much as possible, it will help us with more information in case of an emergency. Now we will start going into contact number 2, which contact number 2 is the same questions as contact number 1, very straightforward. And not only that, but we can also add an additional contact, right? Sometimes one of the parents might work at different shift than the other. Sometimes the parents are not available. So you could add multiple contacts, but they have the same type of questions. Now, there is a limit about how many contacts we can add here. And we will go and see that in the left-hand panel where it says priority. Here, we have to pick who will be priority number 1. And as you can tell, it is required. Here you can see that we can get up to 7 contacts in the contact information. So you can add up to 7 people. So here you want to put a list of who should we contact first. After putting which should we contact first, we were going to move on to siblings. How many siblings do attend the school? And this is required. Is it none or is it more than one, right? Then we go into medical information. Again, medical information just as priority and contacts. This is very important information. Now, some of this you might not have the information to right now, so you can fill it up later. They are not required, but again, the most information we have, the better it is. Here we have health history. Does the student have any allergies? Do they have any other medical conditions? And if you put yes in any of them, you will have this box. And here in this box, you're able to describe what kind of allergies, what kind of medical conditions do they have. This question is very important. Does the student use any prescription medication? You want to describe as much as you can here, especially so we can keep track on what medication we need to be aware of, right? If not, you can put no. If yes, we need to know, do they need to take it here at school? And all these boxes are required. After that, you want to read this medical treatment, and you should have your student's name here. In this case, because it's a preview, we don't see the student's name. Then you put yes, and you want to electronically sign it. In this case, I will just put my name, and that will count as the signature. Now we'll move on to the necessary documents. Here, we're going to go over necessary documents. You will have to upload a few files for our records. In this case, immunization shots, proof of address, and you want to choose a file from your computer, which can take different types of files. It can take documents, it can take PDF, it can take JPEGs or JPEGs. And here you'll choose a file from your computer or from your phone. You click there, and you want to go search for the picture, the PDF, or the JPEG, how you have it saved. In this case, we're going to do a screenshot that I took, and you can just put open, or you can go for a PDF here, and you can just put open, and from here you will click on upload. It will upload it. In this case, because I have a preview, you cannot see the loading, but in your case, it will load up the document. And if you need more space to load more documents, you click here to add more uploads. And you will go through the same formatting by choosing File, go on your computer, and look for the appropriate document to upload. And by doing the same steps, open and upload. And you'll have to do this with multiple sections, with proof of address, latest report card, birth certificate, and you can again upload different types of files or as many files as you need. You can take these files from your phone and put them on your computer, and from your computer into the registration place. Now let's jump into agreements. Here's where you find the most reading out of student enrollment. By clicking on this link, it will send you to a new page where you will find the parent and student handbook. Here, the faculty, the staff, the parent, and the student should read the whole handbook because it gives a lot of important information. In this case, you see that it's 105 pages, and it covers a lot from schedule, types of food, the staff, the rules, and it's very important for everybody to read it. Also, it comes in two languages, both English and Spanish. After you have read the handbook, you want to go back to the page and you want to sign this agreement that you have read it and is required. Now we're going to go for Code of Workplace Conduct and Dress Code. This one is a little shorter, but it still needs to be read by everybody. It's 17 pages and you can print it or you can download it. It could be easier for you to read it. Again, you can always go back to all this information as the year goes on so you have your own electronic copy. As before, you want to go back and put yes that you have read it. And we have other agreements to cover, like photo and video release. Sometimes the school might take photos for the yearbook or for programs, and here you will choose if you would like your student to get pictures taken. And again, it is required, and you just fill up the bubble as you go. Now here we have the parent consent to random search for the school year. You'll click on it and it will give you more information about what it means. Here you'll also get a both English and Spanish form, and if you need your own language, you can ask for the school to provide you with a copy. Now there's more agreements to look at. These agreements, we also use them throughout the whole school year, and some of them are in case of an emergency or some are for electronic use. Once you click on this bubble, you must click one of the answer choices, and they are all required. They also have enough space for you to be as detailed as you can for us to find the proper accommodation for your student. Again, you would like to read all this information as careful as possible, all these agreements, because we will use them throughout the whole year for both the parents and the students. Now that we have finished doing all the agreements, we will jump into electronic signature. Here, you want to agree that you have read all the information and you have answered them as best as possible. In this case, I'm putting my first and last name and today's date, and that will count as your electronic signature. Now that we reached the end, we have this summary page. Here you can see that I have a few numbers in red, and these are the boxes that I did not fill up that said require. You can find invalid fields and you can go back and fill those boxes out. In this case, because it was an example or a preview, I did not fill them up. But after you fill them up, those summary numbers should go down to green checks. After that, you'll click the submit button and it will submit your form. If you have any other questions, you can always reach out to the school by email, by phone number, or go physically to the school and we will answer your questions. Thank you.